You going?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much, everybody, for coming. I'm super excited to be here. Sarah, she's going to be our hostess, we'll pretend. Sarah, thanks so much for letting us come to your house and inviting all your friends and making nice treats for us. That's super sweet of you. So just to go ahead and start off, if everyone will just grab a book from my rack. Doesn't matter which one you grab. It can be one that you have at home that you happen to love, or just something that catches your eye. You'll need it in a couple minutes. So everybody is grabbing a book. There you go, Dave. That one's for you.
Thanks.
Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have everybody go around the room and introduce yourselves. You're going to tell me your name, the age of your kids, and something about the book that you picked out. But in order for you to get your thoughts together, I'm going to go first so you can have a couple minutes. So I started selling Usborne books about 1.5 years ago. I started because I had fallen in love with the books. I had a party and I wanted to get tons of them, and I didn't want to have to buy all of them. And my daughter was about 1 year old at the time, and I really wanted to get out of my house every once in a while. So now my daughter's 2.5. I still love my nights out that I get and being able to meet new people, and now I love the income that I'm able to make with my Usborne business. It's fantastic. We were a one-car family, and we were able to buy a van. And so my Usborne business, the money that I make covers my van payment, which is super exciting. So that's kind of a little bit about me. Said my daughter's 2.5. I just have the one child right now. Yeah, and we love the books. We read books all the time at home because it's so much fun. Okay. Oh, first off, before you introduce yourselves, has anybody not heard of Usborne before? Dave, awesome. Thanks for being my pretend person. So Dave, and anybody else who doesn't know about Usborne, Usborne Books was actually started by a man named Peter Usborne in the UK 40 years ago. He was in the magazine industry, and when he found out that his wife was pregnant, he just all of a sudden he knew he needed to make children's books because he wanted fantastic things for his kids, and he didn't like what was out there. So it started 40 years ago in the UK, and we've now been in the US for 25 years. It's our 25-year anniversary, which is really exciting. And the thing I love about Usborne Books is they're very educational, they're extremely well made, and they're really fun and entertaining for the kids. They really draw the kids in and keep them interested, which is great because there's so many things to compete against, like TV and video games and cell phones, and Usborne Books are really made to compete with that kind of digital age. Okay, so let's go around real quick and have everybody introduce themselves. So again, say your name, the age of your kids that you're shopping for, whether that's children, grandchildren, nieces and nephews, whoever, and then a little something about the book that you picked out. So, Dave, why don't you go first?
Okay, so I'm Dave. My daughter is 2.5, and I picked out, is that the next thing, is the book I picked out about it?
Yes, the book you picked out.
So I picked out Muddle and Match.
Why did you pick this one?
I think it's a really awesome book. Like, you can change, like, I just thought it was really fun, and it looked like something my daughter would be interested in, and I liked how you could, like, flip between the different parts of the people and match things up. I thought it was way cool.
Yep, awesome. Yeah, this is one of our brand new titles, and this happens to be one of my daughter's new favorites. This is the boy version, but there's also a girl version, and that one has, like, mermaids and princesses and ballerinas, along with like witches and race car drivers and still some of like the super fun things. So that is a good one. If any of you want to unmute yourself, you can introduce yourself real quick and tell me about the book that you grabbed. Anybody? Who had one? Jill, did you have a book?
I have one.
Who was that?
It's Abby.
Okay, Abby, go ahead.
Hey, my name is Abby, and my reader is 20 months old. And the book that I picked is Question and Answer. Lift the Slump, Questions and Answers about Animals. I just thought it looked a lot of fun. There's tons of different questions in here that I don't know the answers to, so I think my son would really enjoy.
Perfect. Yes, I love that one. That one's also a new one. I've got one here that's just the original questions and answers, and then there's questions and answers about animals and questions and answers about your body. So there's a couple new ones, and they're super great. Tons of good information in them. Okay, awesome. Thank Thanks, you can mute yourself again. Okay, so now that we are done with our introductions, let me just give you a quick outline of what we're going to do tonight. First off, I want you to have fun, but I also want you to learn something. So I am going to give you a couple literacy statistics and tips, things that should be able to help you with your kids and in your family. Then I will pass out the catalogs. There's now about 2,000 books in the catalog. So I like to give those out pretty soon so everybody can kind of look through them since there's a lot to look through. After that, I will talk about some of my favorite books, any of them that we haven't talked about already with the introductions. Just give you guys my favorites and bestsellers. Then we will go through, lost my train of thought. Oh, we'll do a quick game and we'll give out some raffle tickets and then we'll pick a free book. And then I'll just help everybody with their orders. So that's kind of the plan. Okay, so, Dave, I've got a question for you. We'll see if you know the answer. If you get it correct, I will give you another raffle ticket.
Oh, sweet.
Okay, so I'm looking for percentages, and I want to know the percent of children in kindergarten that you think say that they enjoy reading and like reading outside of school. Percentage of kids in kindergarten who like reading outside of school.
20%.
Way higher.
Oh, so it is higher than that.
Oh yeah, way higher than 20%.
40%.
That wasn't way higher.
That's double. That's way higher.
Okay, so the percentage of kids who like reading outside of kindergarten when they're that age is 100%.
Wow.
They're brand new to reading. They're really excited about it. They're learning lots of new things. And so they love going home and reading when they're not in school. That's it encompasses almost everything that they're doing. So 100% of kids in kindergarten love reading outside of school. Okay, so here's your second chance. So now I'm looking for another percentage of fourth graders that like reading outside of school.
20%.
Higher.
Oh, fine. 40%.
Higher than that, which is good because if it was only 40%, that'd be super sad. It's 54% of fourth graders. So we lose almost half of our readers just between kindergarten and fourth grade. And the reason that we have found for that is because around that fourth grade mark is where children get confident enough in their reading that parents are not reading to them out loud as much anymore. Instead of helping them with their homework and helping them with their reading, they're saying, oh, go read your book, you need to read that for your class. And so they lose that excitement. Reading isn't fun anymore, reading is work. And because of that, we lose almost half of the kids. And then after that, as it goes into 8th grade and seniors in high school, the percentages just drop and drop as far as kids that like reading outside of the classroom. So, reading out loud to your kids, even if they can read fine themselves, is still super important. Okay, so here is another one. I just barely learned this a couple weeks ago, and I thought it was so fascinating. There was a study done of a group of kids who had gotten 100%, I don't know what the number is now, but they had gotten a perfect score on their SAT test. And these researchers wanted to know, what was the common factor in all of these kids who had gotten the perfect score on their SAT test. And so, they were thinking it was maybe going to be geography, where they lived, or it was going to be income level, or the types of schools that they were going to. But they found that had nothing to do with it. The only common ground they found with all of those children who got perfect scores was what they called a reading culture. So basically, parents who demonstrated reading in the home, parents who read out loud to their kids, parents who provided lots of books in the home, and parents that read to their children even after they were reading themselves. So that was the only thing that affected their scores, which is pretty awesome. So it doesn't matter if you have the money to send your child to private school. It doesn't matter what kind of neighborhood you live in. It doesn't matter what your race is. As long as you can provide a reading culture for your kids at home, then they are going to be at so much of a greater advantage than other kids. Okay, so we'll move on. I've got a wealth of knowledge of other things if anybody has questions afterwards. But let me kind of show you I got to pass out catalogs first. Almost forgot. Hold on. Okay, so there's a catalog for you. show you what is in here real quick. So in the center of your catalog, you can just open it up. There is a little bookmark that has some tips on reading to your children out loud. There's a little pamphlet if you want any more information about becoming an Usborne consultant, just doing what I do. It's super fun. I love it. Then you're going to have a wish list. Start writing down the books that I say that catch your eye. If you're anything like myself, your wish list is going to be huge and you're going to have to narrow it down. So just write down everything that you like so you don't forget and it's easy to find it later. Then we have a customer care sheet that we are going to go through together a little bit later, so you can just put that to the side, and then your order form that I'll also help you fill out. So that's kind of what's in your catalog. So as I'm going through and telling you my favorites and bestsellers, just go ahead and write down on your wish list things that stick out to you. Start browsing through the catalog. Just to give you a little of an idea, the newest titles are in the very front, and then it kind of goes by age. So younger kids' books are going to be towards the beginning, and then it progresses by age as it goes along. So that kind of can gear you towards the right age of kids that you're looking for. Okay, so I like to go through my favorites sort of the same way the catalog does. So I'll start with younger kids and then go up from there. So my two favorites for the babies and toddlers, the first is this That's Not My series. So this is That's Not My Kitten, and there's a little touchy-feely patch on every page, and the text is really simple, and then there's a little white mouse to find. So that's not my kitten, its tongue is too fuzzy. That's not my kitten, its nose is too smooth. That's not my kitten, its bell is too shiny. That's not my kitten, its paws are too rough. That's my kitten, its tummy is so fluffy. So you can see they're just really cute and simple. Babies love them because there's things to touch. And then even as kids get a little bit older, like the 3- and 4-year-olds love these because they're simple enough that they can memorize them and they feel like they're reading, which is super fun. And I will tell you this, any of my books that you see my little stickers on, this is a customer special. So normally, the That's Not My books are $10, but That's Not My Dragon this month is on sale for $5 with our customer specials. So I'll give you a little bit more info about those later, but just keep a lookout for my little stickers so you can see those discounted prices. Okay, so another favorite for the babies and toddlers and a little bit older too, I love this book. It's Animal Hide and Seek. It has tons of touchy-feely patches and it has flaps to lift. There's also a little yellow duck that hides on every page, and it helps with counting too. So there's one cow in the barn, and then you find cow number 2. And then there are 2 pigs in the pen, and you find pig number 3. So it's just a cute little story. The illustrations are awesome. And oh, I always like to mention with this book, it has super sturdy flaps in it. So if you've got little ones, don't be worried. The other thing that's great about Usborne books is they have a half-price replacement guarantee. So if anything happens to your book, if all the flaps get ripped out, your dog chews it up, your child throws it in the toilet, whatever happens, we can get you a brand new one for half price. So, you know, Walmart's not going to do that. Barnes & Noble isn't going to do it. No one will. But Peter Usborne, he knew that kids were hard on books, so he wanted you to be able to love them and not be afraid of that. Okay, so going up to sort of like your beginner readers, I've got a couple to show you. This one right here, this is one of my very favorite sets. It's called The Very First Reading Set. Sorry, I've got a lot going on over here. And it has 15 books in it. It's $70, but when you divide it out, it's less than $5 a book. And this is fantastic, and you can totally teach your kids to read with it. So I'll just show you real quick how it starts and how it ends. So this is book number 1, and you're going to start out very simply, and it's a great parent-child book. So the parent is going to read this little section over here, and then the child is just going to read these 3 simple words, tap, tap, tap. This way, the story can be a little bit more interesting when the parent's involved, but it's easy enough that the child who's just beginning can read it as well. So they just go through the book, parent-child, which is super fun. Then there's always 3 different puzzles in the back. I don't know if you can see those. 3 different puzzles or games just to make sure the kids are actually comprehending the story, learning the sounds that they're supposed to with each book. So then about halfway through this series, it changes to the child reading the book by themselves. And this is, if I can get it open for you,